So, hello everybody! My name is Kirklin, or you may also know me as Dino from PC2, and welcome to Ero, where we are once again going to be watching the action unfold between our PC1 drivers. Today's track on the calendar is Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, based in Spain of course. It's a track which is 4.675 kilometers long, or 2.905 miles, and it's made out of a good balance of corners, with there being 16, 4 slow speed, 7 medium speed, and 5 fast speed corners. So it has practically everything, and that's what it makes it a good test track for real F1, and is why we see most of the testing happening there. But it looks like Bahrain is coming a bit popular with that as well. We will get into a more in-depth guide in just a moment. The circuit has some memorable moments, of course. In 1991, Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell went down the entire front straight, side by side, while dueling for second place, while Mansell eventually taking the position and ultimately the race itself. In 1994, Michael Schumacher managed to finish in second place, despite driving over half the race with only 5th gear. In 1996, Schumacher took his first win as a Ferrari driver after a dominant performance during a torrential rainstorm. At the 2006 event, Fernando Alonso became the first Spanish Formula 1 driver to win at his home Grand Prix. And the circuit has been the scene of 2 debut wins in Formula 1, with Pastor Maldonado, who took his first and only Grand Prix victory here in 2012, and in 2016 Max Verstappen won his first Grand Prix. As a result, he became the youngest driver to ever win an F1 Grand Prix race. And let's not forget the famous Hamilton and Rosberg crash that happened on this very track coming into turn 4, when Hamilton was pushed off the track by Rosberg. So the track has some pretty rich history with its races, and maybe we can add on some moments that happened today into that list for league racing. Today, unfortunately, Adam is unavailable. He is getting drunk. So I am on my own, but I will do my best to try and provide the best commentary possible. It's not my first time commentating on my own in this league, so I do have a little bit of experience. We are currently joining in the lobby, but first of all I would like to tell you who we should watch for in today's race. So currently Drake Dempsey is leading the championship with 114 points. He has won 4 races in a row and then took 4th position in France, with him having a default setup, and I actually wasn't in this race, so I don't really know what happened. Next we have Tuka following close behind with 82 points, so not a big of a difference, so maybe we can see him close up the gap to him. And then we have Arin Bilbas, the other closest guy to that place, with him being 54 points behind. In the constructors, we have Red Bull winning, of course, with 130 points, and then we have AlphaTauri and Aston Martin actually battling very closely for P2 in the constructors. But Drake's teammate wasn't very, let's say, consistent, so I think that is going to be downfall in the constructors for him. So maybe Bilbas, Foss, Tuka and Horak can maybe do something to snatch P1 in the constructors. And that is it. So Drake, Tuka and Arin Bilbas are the ones to look out for, but maybe someone else can also be here, with Tony Rich having his first Grand Prix today. And also Owen has been promoted to PC1, but only as a reserve. He will take part in PC2 still. He still has some stuff to do with me, but he is also signed up as a reserve for PC1. So he's gonna probably race in both, as he is right now. And Gola has also returned, with him being absent a few races. He is in the Ferrari. And yes, that is it. We are going to be on board with Owen, who is the first guy out on track. While we are on board, we are going to give a more in-depth guide of the track, just to keep you informed of what our drivers need to look out for and what we should expect and where we should expect some crashes maybe happening in the stages of the race. Yes, let me just know if everything of the stream is correct, if the volume is good, if you can hear me well, or if the game is too quiet. So just tell me that. But we are going on board with Owen right now, who is just starting his lap on mediums as well. Oh, but Owen has left the session. What has happened? Okay, never mind. So we are on board with Tony Rich. So turn 1 is the main overtaking point at Catalonia, as it is a braking zone at the end of a long DRS straight. The inside and outside are pretty equally difficult to overtake. The corners themselves make up a medium speed chicane, and it leads to a short straight just before turn 4, the Repsol curve, another right-hander. Then we go into turn 5, comes immediately after. It's a slow left-hander taken in a second gear, which drops rapidly into a downhill towards left kink of turn 6, which is ignored by F1 tracks. Turn 7 and 8 make up a medium speed uphill left chicane. Drivers brake and shift down to turn 3. It's right here, I think. And must not go too wide, as turn 8 has a large curb on its apex, which could potentially damage the car's suspension. I think I am a bit off. We are at the final part of the corner. I think my script is a bit too big. But anyways, yeah, a lot of difficult parts of the track, as Tony Rich has finished his lap with a 1:16.2, the fastest time at the moment. On mediums as well, that is a very fast time. Tony Rich is one of the fastest guys in the league, or in the world actually. His pace is close to the esports guys and close to Drake, so maybe we can see him battling for the win today, alongside Drake and maybe Tuka, if Tuka can challenge for that win again. But yeah, not a bad lap time. Not a bad lap time overall, as Tuka currently sets the fastest lap time of a 1:16.1 on softs, so he will have to start on those. If you don't know, whatever tire you qualify in top 10 in short qualifying, you have to start on those in the race. So if Tuka has done a fastest lap on these softs, he will have to start on those. And tire wear is also pretty big in Catalonia, so be careful with which tire you want to start on. But saying that, the one stop is definitely possible with going softs to mediums and then mediums to or mediums to softs. So you can do both if you want to. Because they are both possible, but you will struggle a little bit at the end. You have to stretch out. If you start on softs, you have to stretch them to like lap 10 or maybe 11 to make sure that the mediums go until the end and you don't get a puncture. So you have to be really careful with your tire management. And fuel is also pretty difficult to manage on this track, but it's not as difficult as the tires. As Arjen Bilbas, the AlphaTauri driver, is finishing his lap with a 1:17.024. Which puts him in front of his teammate Jonathan Foss, who is also on mediums, 3 tenths behind him. So currently, it's not looking too bad. The only people that haven't set lap time are Owen, Elwell, Edro, Powers, Drake, Jelinek, Globetrotter, and Gola. But we are going to be seeing them soon, as we have a spin with Globetrotter, or Niemsik actually. After turn 7. And I think Owen has just started his flying lap. I think he's lagging a little bit because I think he was in the pit lane, but don't quote me on that. But let's see what he can do. The PC2 driver currently leading the championship in PC2, but not by a lot, as I have won here yesterday. We have climbed closer to him. So let's see what he can do against PC1 drivers, if he is fast enough. Of course, PC1, if you don't know, is driven with no assists, so he has to learn how to drive without those and try to get that in PC2 as well. So let's see what he can do. He's currently finishing Sector 2, a 51.084. Not bad, but not too great on mediums, of course. I think his best lap time yesterday was a 117, but I think he invalidated a lot and spun, and the first lap he put was on mediums, which put him in P12. So if he does that lap again, he will be P7 currently, just in front of Jonathan Voss, Puskadija, and Ero. And he does that. He is just behind Voss and just ahead of the Haas driver. So not bad, not a bad position for him, as the two Mercedes actually put a lap time to be P3 and 4. So they are looking pretty strong here, as well as Berlini is currently starting his flying lap, as well as Gola, who is currently in the middle of the track. So let's keep on board with him, as he has been put to reserve. If you didn't know, he retired from racing in PC1, but looks like he has returned for a little bit, maybe because he was bored. But yes, he is driving once more in the Ferrari alongside Tony Rich, which is currently P2 on mediums, and he's come now to the final corner right now. Let's see what time he can do. It is a 119.2, but he probably made a lot of mistakes, because that is surely not his pace from our PC1 champion from Season 6. And yes, that is it. Before we continue with the qualifying session, I would just like to say that you should leave a like if you are enjoying the commentary so far, and you can subscribe to our channel as well. It really helps us out to make better videos, and we would also like to thank our partners, Bolidomania, Race Inside the Discord, JR Designs, and Grid Finder. Thank you for partnering with us. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to race with us, as we see a spin with Berlini, who has made contact with a Haas driver, probably Par, but I don't know who that was. So if you want to race with us, there is a link in the description for our Discord that will put you there, and you can sign up. Currently we are not looking for reserves, but we will keep you informed when the sign-ups start again. So yeah, that is it, I think. We shall continue. I think it was desynced from Omen's part, but do not quote me on that. I don't know who was desynced. Or if you mean the incident between Berlini and Puskadija, I don't know. But let's see what everyone else can do, as Drake is currently finishing his flying lap with a 1:15.3. Oh my god, that is a fast lap time. I think in time trial he did like a 1:15.1 or 1:14.9. So this is just an incredible lap time. And you might question, why is he doing a qualifying session now, while in previous races he retired from the qualifying session? Well, he has actually some competition right now with Tony Rich. I think I mentioned him before. He is our new reserve driver, currently racing in Ferrari alongside Mateusz Gola, and he is almost as fast as Drake Dempsey. In time trial, only 2 or 3 tenths slower than him. So we might see quite a competition happening right here with both of them, as we see Niemczyk spinning in the Red Bull just before the fan chicane. Let's see what he can do. Tony Rich currently finishing his lap with a 1:15.5, 2 tenths off of Drake, and 6 tenths faster than Caracola, currently in the pit lane. So currently not bad for his first drive, but to be honest, we were expecting that. But he did join a bit late. If he wants to battle for the championship, he will have quite a difficult time. He will have to win every race, and Drake will probably have to lose and crash a lot of times. if he wants to battle for the championship, as Jonathan Foss actually improves on his lap time. A 1:16.2 puts him in P4 for the AlphaTauri driver, doing pretty well today, in front of almost everyone except for Duca, who is probably going to be his main competition so far, or in today's race. But we will have to wait and see. If you haven't seen PC2 and PC3, you should probably go watch those, because those races were pretty interesting and there was actually a lot of action. No rain, of course, in PC2. I don't know in PC3, I don't remember, that was a long time ago, like 2 days ago. I don't even know what I ate yesterday, so I don't really remember the whole of the PC3 race, but it was exciting indeed. So Spain does make a few interesting races, as we see Adro in the Aston Martin currently crash, and also Luke Mills has retired from the session. Let's see what actually happened to him. He has crashed onto the second straight, which is very unfortunate. Wait, is rain inbound for the race in PC1? If that's the case, that's gonna make a lot of things very interesting indeed. As Nathan Powers, the other Alpine, has spot lap time of a 1:16.4, puts him in P6. A very good qualifying session for Alpine at the moment, and not too shabby, to be honest, as Alpine have not had the best of races so far this season. They have had pretty bad luck, with Luke Mills trying to learn no assists, and looks like he's gonna have to try a bit longer, or practice a bit more, if he wants to score his first points for Alpine, which he hasn't yet done. As Borlini actually sets the fastest Sector 1, which is very interesting indeed, so let's keep on board with him. Oh, okay. Okay then. So, where was I? So, Owen has actually finished his lap in the McLaren, a 1:16.7, RPC2 championship leader, doing pretty well. He is going to have to start on those softs if no one overtakes him, which is probably going to be the case, as Berlini is currently finishing his lap as he invalidates on the final corner, as he goes a little bit wide on the apex, which is very unfortunate indeed. Let's see if he can improve in the next 3 minutes, because we still have a lot of time remaining in the session. 3 minutes, that is going to allow our drivers to do 1 or 2 more runs, how much they want to. So still a lot of time for improvement. Do not have a lot of pressure, you do have a lot of time to do. As Mateusz Gola is currently finishing his lap, a 1:16.6, only just ahead of Berlini, 1/10 faster, puts him on P8. So currently Ferrari is looking pretty okay so far, could be better, but is good. And taking P2 and P8 respectively for the Ferrari drivers is going to put them pretty good for the start of the race, and if they finish like this in the constructors, they might also be pretty good. As we have 3 minutes remaining in the session, no one is remaining on mediums, so we will have to wait and see for that. Let me just check a few things. Okay, so let's go on board with another driver, Pavlakovic, in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see what he can do. Currently P13, not a good qualifying session for Alfa Romeo at the moment, as he improves by 70 thousandths of a second as he goes very wide, and will probably have to bail that lap and probably wait a little bit longer to do another one, as Sikerbike has started his flying lap, the Haas driver. The Haas team is also not having a pretty good qualifying session, as well as Alfa Romeo, currently sitting P12 and 16, as Gola retires in the pit lane, I think. Looks like he doesn't want to do any more running, so he's either relying on some people overtaking him and starting below the top 10, or he is happy with P8 at the moment and he is confident that no one will overtake him. As Sikabike had a little bit of traffic with the Aston Martin of Adro, but thankfully he has moved aside, so he will not get any dirty air. If you don't know, the dirty air is the air that goes to your car if you follow another car just ahead of you, and it loses you a lot of downforce that you are going to have when you are in the clear air, and you lose around 2 to 3 tenths in the corners, so you really have to manage that everywhere. It's going to be mainly in the race, not as much in the qualifying, so be careful to not run wide or corner cut with the dirty air and you will be good. This track is probably going to be a penalty avoiding and damage limitation as well, as CKBK is just outside the top 10, 2 tenths off of Owen, a 116.9. Puts him in P11. He will have a free choice of tires, so that might prove beneficial for him, as we have huge traffic forming up just before the final chicane of turns 15 and 16 and 14 as well. So these drivers need to get a move on and leave some space behind them to not get dirty air, which I was just talking about, as the Mercedes driver does not do that, and he actually improves. A 116.1 puts him in P4, as I think he has done something, as our championship leader, currently sitting in P1, has retired from the race. He has crashed on the outside wall, so looks like he has lost control of his car. This is not gonna do him good if Tony Rich can be faster on his flying lap right now. Let's see if he can snatch that pole position, as he was currently slower in the first sector, 1/10 slower. So currently not looking that good, as he goes to 4th gear, nearly loses the back end into turn 7, but thankfully he managed to catch it, as we see, I think that was Globetrotter sitting on the inside line of track, so doesn't ruin his lap. Tony has improved by 0.003 of a second. As we see people finishing their laps, none of them are improving. But let's keep on board with Tony Rich. Let's see if he can snatch pole position. He has just a few corners to go, 2 more corners to go. He takes them pretty okay. Let's see if he can improve by 2 tenths, which will put him in P1, and he only improves by 1, a 115.480. He remains P2 as Stuka improves 3 tenths, I think, and 115.8. A very, very, very impressive lap time from the runner-up in the championship. This will give him a lot of confidence going into the race, as if you start in the odd numbers, you do have the outside line, which could prove beneficial for Tuka, Driggs, Namirovsky, Owen, and everyone else starting in the odd numbers. So they will be easier to avoid contacts into turns 1. As Namirovsky going into the pit lane, just behind them, I think everyone has done their lap. And Adro is actually stuck. Let's hope that this does not disqualify him. Is this glitched? I don't know. As we are waiting for Pavlakovic just to go into the pit lane, and after he does, we will end the qualifying session. So let's just keep on board with Adro, trying to get out of the grass trap. I really don't know. And he actually gets out, so I really don't know what has happened here, but looks like everything is okay and dandy, as Drake Dempsey has won this qualifying session. He is going to start in pole position with a 115.3, so very impressive from Drake Dempsey, but that was expected, to be honest, as Tony Rich takes P2 for the reserve Ferrari driver, and Tokarakola follows them right behind to take the final podium position, which is in the race. In qualifying it's not. Jonathan Foss in the AlphaTauri starts P4, Znamirovsky P5, Jelenek P6, Owens P7, Powers P8, Pavlakovic P9, and Gola starts P10. All of these drivers will have to start on these softs, and everyone below will have a free choice of tire with Adjo, Nieto, Borlini, Sikerbik, Bill Baspar, Mills, Sizevsky, Globtrober, and I don't know who the final guy is. The final guy is Elwell. So all of these drivers will have a free choice of tire to put onto the car for the start of the race. If they go to softs, mediums or hards is not clear. That is what we are going to have to see when the formation lap starts. But I think, or I reckon, we will see quite a lot of people going on mediums, because that strategy is going to be a bit easier. Stretching the mediums to around lap 26. Or maybe 24, and then going for softs until the end of the race. Or maybe they want to do a two-stop from mediums to softs again, or maybe go mediums to hards, which I do not recommend at all. I predict a lot of one-stop strategies, as one-stop strategy is very beneficial in this game, going from softs to mediums or mediums to softs, like I said before. That is probably going to be the best strategy possible, as you do not lose that much time, actually, if you do that. I think you lose way more if you do a if you do a two-stop, because tire wear is very high on this track, so softs wear out a lot. They wear out like 8% each lap, so you do not really gain all of the time that you lose in pit lane when you switch for them. So it's quite a dilemma if you want to do a two-stop. It's, I think, dependent on what you want to do. If you are confident in your pace, and if you think that you are able to do it and gain positions with a two-stop, then, I mean, do it, but I do not think that that is what we should see. As safety cars are also not that uncommon in Spain, so I think we might see a few. As everyone below the top 10 has started on mediums, except for Luke Mills, who is starting on softs, and Owen is having a few internet issues, disconnecting in qualifying and the race. Let's hope that he fixes that soon. As yeah, we have started the formation lap, currently aboard with Drake, Tony right behind them, Tuka right behind them, and Foss as well. They are leaving quite a big gap to everyone else behind them, the two Mercedes drivers, so they will have to get a little bit of a move on to not have cold tires, or actually I should say that for the front runners. They should slow down a little bit to not have way too cold tires, because if you have cold tires at the start of the race, I think your start is going to be pretty bad and you're gonna lose way too many positions. So keeping the tires hot and keeping them well managed in the formation lap and keeping everyone close to each other is going to be the best possible way to do the formation lap. Like I did yesterday, I was just as slow as possible, try to minimize the gap between everyone, so everyone has pretty equal tire temperatures and it's just way better. But still, getting the perfect start is going to be very difficult, and you can imagine that the drivers without traction control have their job even worse, because they really have to be careful with how they manage the gearing in the beginning, ERS in the beginning, throttle in the beginning, like everything, the RPMs, like literally everything. As we are currently waiting for everyone else to form up the grid, currently waiting on the final 6 people. Elwell is going to be the last guy starting, or the last guy to form up the grid, and we will start the race very soon. And this is going to be a very good one indeed. Just before we start, I would just like to remind you again to leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and I really hope you enjoy today's commentary, as we currently have 3, 4 and 5 red lights, And it's long call up as always, as we are underway for the Spanish Grand Prix, as Drake gets a very good start. He will remain in P1 probably after turn 1, as Tuka tries to go around the outside of Tony Rich. Let's see if he can make that move stick, as Tony breaks very late, and there was, I think, contact between Jonathan Foss and Tuka Rakola, but thankfully no spins at the moment, as Yellowneck in the Mercedes has spun, and we already have our first retirement with the I think Williams driver of Berlini, and we already have a virtual safety car. Thankfully, not a lot of incidents, except for the Berlini and the Jelinek incident, and Adro has spun into turn 4. Let's hope that that doesn't lose him a lot of time, as Owen has improved quite a few positions, going from P7 to P6, so improving one position at the moment. He is doing pretty well for his first race in PC1, and Tony Rich currently 5/10 behind of Drake. He needs to get a very good VSC restart if he wants to stay close to Drake, to not lose way too much time, because we saw that Drake is faster during that one lap, but we don't know how their race pace is. And we also don't know when the VSC is going to end, but it's probably going to be soon. As things mostly stay the same with positions, but Bilbas actually improves a lot of positions, starting from P15 going to P9 already, and Elwell starting last to P13. So very good from them indeed, as I think we have restarted for the safety car. I don't know, it's still a VSC, and there we go. I think Tony Rich has got a way better safety car restart than Drake, but he is still way too far behind to try and make a move. As Tuka has also gotten a very good restart. He is only 3/10 behind. If he can follow both Tony and Drake, this is going to be very beneficial for his race. He will get a bigger gap to Jonathan Boss right behind him. The only problem is dirty air for Tuka, but I think he can manage that. We saw that in the previous races. We do also have a few battles behind with Gola and Bilbas. Bilbas on medium tires, and Gola I think has the advantage here, as they are both on equal ERS. As Gola track extends, that will probably be one warning already, and Ilwell trying to go on par just behind those two drivers, as Elwell is trying to make a move around the inside. Parr is not defending at all, and I think that will be a very easy overtake for Elwell. He takes that position for P12. Now he has the other Haas driver just in front of him. Let's see if he can overtake him as easily as he did his teammate, but we'll have to wait and see for that, probably the next straight. Some of these people look like are running a bit lower downforce, which is very good. And Drake Dempsey has already extended his gap to Tony by 1 second. So already we can see that his pace overall in the race is way better than Tony, or Tony is just very much struggling on these softs, and probably isn't expecting that they are wearing out this much, or probably hasn't practiced, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is with him losing that much time already, as he was 2/10 close. As we have a yellow flag, it's Globetrotter, the other Red Bull driver, currently spinning behind, as we have Adro and Sisevsky battling for P14 and P15. As Adro runs a little bit off the track into turn just before turn 5. As the Globetrotter has retired from the session, and that is another virtual safety car. And Nathan Powers, I think, has lost a lot at the moment. He has lost 10 positions, starting from P8. He is currently P18, and Jelinek as well, the Mercedes driver, starting from P6. Going to P17. So these drivers do not have luck at the moment on their side, and we already have our first pit stoppers with Drake, Tony, Tuka, Foss. Everyone is going into the pit lane except for Owen. So all of these drivers want to remove these tires as soon as possible, as Drake actually goes for hards. A very interesting strategy. Tony goes for mediums, and VSC is off. DRS is also enabled this lap. And this is actually gonna be very interesting. Both Tony and Drake are on different strategies. The mediums that Tony has cannot go until the end. Definitely not. The hards might. So this is gonna be very interesting how this plans out, as we have Sisevsky and Adro actually making contact, and Adro has been spun around because of that. And that is a very unfortunate incident indeed, as Tony trying to get ahead of Luke Mills, who is on older softs. Those are probably going to be around 24%. 24% worn already, or maybe a little bit more. As I said before, they wear out around 8 to 9 laps. The mediums wear out around 3, and for the hards, I don't really know. But trust me, you never want to go on hards, and that's why I'm very interested to see how Drake is actually going to cope with those hards. And he's actually gaining a lot of time on Tony, as Tony is struggling to pass Luke Mills in the middle sector, but that's not the place where you can overtake, as he loses traction in the... or actually he touches the inside curb into turn 15 and loses a lot of time, but he has all of the straight line speed, and Luke Mills is not really defending, and Tony also has DRS, so... that was a pretty easy overtake for Tony. To be honest, I think that hards can go until the end. You just have to be very, very cautious with them at every corner, because mediums can go 27 laps, and definitely. So hards can definitely go until the end. And I'm very sorry if you see, I'm quite sick, so my voice is not in the best place at the moment. As Tuka, the other pit stopper, is just trying to overtake Luke Mills, as Luke is actually defending the inside line and is not making it easy for Tuka. But Tuka goes around the outside, takes that position very easily, as Adro has crashed into the wall. But thankfully, he does not have any damage. But Pavlakovic has also actually taken the lead of today's race, but Owen has DRS, he is not using any DRS. Pavlakovic not defending the inside. Let's see if he can make this overtake stick, as Pavlakovic actually has way better traction, but Owen has now the inside line into turn 3. They are going side by side, and Owen makes a brilliant overtake stick. Round the inside, down the inside, around the outside, and then inside into turn 3 again, as Bilbas is trying to make that move stick as well for P2. As we have another retirement, it's Adro in the Aston Martin. He retired into pit lane, so that is good, at least. But this is quite an intense battle for the final spots on the podium. All of these drivers have not pitted yet, so they will lose quite a lot of time to Drake and Tony. But maybe at the later stages of the race, when they have fresher tires than them, maybe they can make the gap up to those drivers. But I don't know. We will have to wait and see. We currently don't have any penalties, so penalty limitation looks like is pretty okay. As Tuka has actually spun. Tuka has spun. No, wait, what? Oh, that's the other Asmar Martin. Okay. As Bilbas is trying to go on Pavlakovic, but he is, I think, way too far behind. And just behind them, Elwell has just overtaken David Nieto in the McLaren for P5. As Tony Rich overtakes Sisevsky for P9, and now he has a little bit of clean air until he catches up to George Parr, the Haas driver, and will be held up a little bit longer. He is 2.5 seconds already behind Jake Dempsey, so this is not really looking to his favor, which is very unfortunate for Tony. But I think if this manages to retain itself, Tony will probably have to pit again, go for softs, do the fastest lap, and then maybe, if he is fast enough and if he doesn't have a lot of traffic, maybe he can snatch P1, but we shall see what he decides to do with his strategy. Maybe, but Owen does have a little bit of a problem with those softs. We have to see where he ends up after he makes his pit stop, and then see what his pace is like after he puts on whatever tire he wants. Probably mediums, he will probably learn from me yesterday that mediums are better, as Tony has overtaken George Parr for P8, and now he has clean air to go try and reduce his gap to Drake, as it is 3 seconds, exactly 3 seconds. So yeah, let's see what he can do. But this fight for the front, for first position is still happening with Owen Pavlakovic and Bilbas. All of these drivers in different teams. Owen, like I said before, is the current reserve for PC1 and is still racing in PC2 and currently leading the championship as well by around 20 or something points. Just ahead of me and Elliot. You should definitely watch PC2 and PC3. They are both amazing tiers, and a lot of action is happening there. You should definitely go watch that. So this first race at the moment currently looking pretty good for him, but he does have experience from yesterday that he also did race, as Pavlakovic does not have a lot of slipstream from Owen, so this might give Bilbas the opportunity to maybe try and make a move down the inside, but no, he's way too far behind, as Elwell and Nieto are battling for P4, as Nieto goes very deep into turn 1, and that allows Elwell to maybe try and retake P4 in the race, and just behind them Sikerbike and Drake are catching up to them very quickly, as these drivers have been battling for quite a few laps right now, and they cannot really they cannot get over it, as looks like Elwell actually is very much down on ERS, and Nieto has 70%, so he has a lot to defend with, so this will not be easy for Elwell. So let's see what he can do, but maybe Sikerbike can maybe try and make a move on Elwell, as he has more ERS as well. And Drake already 3.4 seconds ahead of Tony, as he nearly collides with Sikerbike in Haas, but thankfully no contact was made here, and here as well, keeping it very safe indeed, and we might see some overtakes happening into the start-finish straight, as Elwell, or actually Nieto, goes very wide into the final corner, and he is going to be overtaken by Elwell, Sikerbike and Drake. They go 3 wide on the start-finish straight. This is not going to end well if this is going to continue. They need to sort this out, as they are closing up to Elwell. Nieto and Drake going side by side into turn 1, going into turn 2 side by side, as well as Drake goes down around the outside. Takes P5. As Sisevsky has overtaken Jelinek as well, as he has the inside line right here in this corner, but Jelinek looks like is a little bit faster. He is also using a bit of VRS, as Sisevsky tries to go around the inside. This might be contact, but thankfully not. They leave each other room as much as possible. As Jelinek goes off the track, he will have to give that place to Sisevsky for a little bit longer, and he actually allows his teammate to overtake him, and he loses the back end of his car and has to give Foz the position, as Drake has overtaken Elwell around the outside as well. Oh my god. A lot of battles happening at the moment, as Owen, I think, has retaken the lead in today's race at the moment, but it is near the pit stop phase, as I am saying that he is going into the pit lane, the only one actually. Let's see what tires he puts on, and Bilbas cannot overtake him, so he will have to wait a little bit longer, as Owen is putting hards. So he has not learned from yesterday that mediums are the better compound. But it's his strategy, it's his call, so I'm not gonna judge him. He has just pulled out behind Luke Mills, so he will have a little bit of a job to do to overtake him, as Bilbas and Pavlakovic are actually battling for P1 on lap 11 into turn 7. As Bilbas actually loses the control of his car, as he takes the inside curb a little bit too much, as they go side by side into turn 8, and Pavlakovic down the inside takes P1. but Bilbas might have the DRS on the start-finish straight, and I think he does have ERS as well. They are on pretty equal, but Drake behind them is just roaring and catching them way too quickly. So he might also have DRS, and we might see him also emerge in the battle with these two in front, as he's already close to them. But let's see if Bilbas first can make this overtake for P1, as he is using ERS. Pavlakovic not really defending, and he just lets him through, and Bilbas is currently our pole sitter at the moment. And Drake is just getting way too much time on these two, so let's see how easy he can overtake them, as Znamirovsky and Parr in the Haas and Mercedes are actually battling as well, as Znamirovsky goes round the outside, overtakes George Parr, and I think Jonathan Foss might also try to make a move, as Parr is only slightly defended the inside, as there was a little bit of a contact with the AlphaTauri and Haas driver as they still go side by side into turn 5. George Parr trying to overtake that place back, but Jonathan Foss has a way better exit than Parr, and Parr has to stay behind, as Drake is overtaking Pavlakovic for P2, as he doesn't leave him almost any space, but he does overtake him for P2. That was fair but aggressive, just like every Red Bull driver. The Max Verstappening. As he now has clean air to Bilbas, also DRS. This will probably be a very easy overtake, as Tony Rich is struggling in the back in P7, as Drake overtakes Bilbas, but they are still going side by side. Maybe Bilbas wants to take that place back, but no. He thinks better of it. He knows that there is no point in trying to battle with Drake, because that will lead to nowhere. So he just has to stay behind him to not damage his car, to try and keep the gap to him, try and get the DRS from him, and then stay ahead of Pavlakovic, and then just keep it safe. Damage limitation, you know. Damage limitation, penalty limitation, as we actually have a few penalties already, with Elwell and Jelinek sharing 3 seconds. And I think Tony might want to get these guys quickly, as he is not currently doing that. This is a big battle between these 5 drivers, with Tuka, Tony, Sikriviki, Nieto, and Elwell. All of these drivers battling for P5, and this is a very big slipstream train. There's probably not gonna be any overtaking happening, maybe with Nieto and Elwell, but we shall see right now, as Pavlakovic has finally went into the pit lane, as Tony actually makes an overtake on Sikerbike and Nieto as well, and Sikerbike does not battle with that, and Tuka nearly collides with Sikerbike, but manages to avoid him, as he had to track extend a little bit to the outside line to avoid it. So that was very close indeed. That would have ruined his entire race, as we probably won't see another safety car if no crashes happen. But Pavlakovic has went on 2 medium tires. He is only 7 tenths behind of Owen, so I think we might see something happening here in just a few laps, as he has way fresher tires than Owen and better tires than Owen as well. So we will have to wait and see what happens there. So, we are currently on lap 14. Currently, Drake Dempsey is leading the race. Shocker, of course. I'm shaking and crying, RN. Bilbas is currently P2, Nieto and Elwell following him right behind, but they still haven't made their pit stop. And Sikerbike as well has not pitted. Actually saying that Elwell is going into the pit lane. So he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He will probably go for hard, or let's see if he actually wants to do a 2-stop. As I think that's Namirovsky, and no, that was actually them overtaking Elwell in the pit lane, as Gola has overtaken George Parr in the Haas. Very easy overtake indeed, as Pavlakovic has also overtaken Owen for P12. After everyone makes their pit stop, I think these two drivers will emerge pretty highly. I think around... I think they might remain P2 or P3, because there is not that big of a gap to the leader. So yeah, they might rejoin in P3 and P4, but the only problem for them is that their tires are going to be very much worn out at the end of the race, and the drivers that pit now are going to have fresher tires and will have way more to push and to battle with. But yeah, Tony Rich still trying to clear away this this train, as the only person still ahead of him is David Nieto. But he will make a quick work of him just in a second, and there we go. He is P3 in today's race, but still have yet to make his pit stop. Which will probably be very soon, as Jonathan Foss in the AlphaTauri is currently battling with Namirovsky, as Pavlakovic takes the first lap of the race, a 1:18.5. Not bad at all. That will give him an additional point, even if you are outside the top 10. So in this league, if you don't know, you get a point if you start on pole position, so Jake Dempsey already has a point to his name. And you also get the fastest lap for taking... and you also get an additional point for taking the fastest lap in the race. In real life, you would only get that if you were in top 10, but in Ero we actually give the fastest lap to anyone who wants to do it. So everyone has at least something to battle with. So, for example, Luke Mills not currently looking well for points, so he can just pit for softs at the end of the race and maybe try and do a fastest lap. Maybe, I don't know. And he might get an additional point, which he would have not gotten if he didn't try to do the fast lap. But we have to wait and see if there are going to be any safety cars in the race, as we still don't really know what might happen. As Jonathan Foss may be trying to go on a move on Znamirovsky, but he's just trying to stay in his DRS, not pushing too much. They are on equal hards. They are both probably going to pit at the same time. They are probably going to go for softs to the end of the race. We will have to wait and see what they decide to do. But this is probably the best strategy for Jonathan Foss, just to stay behind Znamirovsky, keep in his DRS, do not overtake him, and just don't lose way too much time. If you lose time, then overtake him and then do stuff and push for the guys ahead of you. Because the fight with the guys ahead is still happening with Nieto, Sikerbike and Rahkola. Tony will probably just clear that gap and try to get as close to Bilbas as possible, as he is doing that, but it is taking him quite a long time. As we are currently at the halfway point of the Grand Prix, everyone who has joined today's stream, I would like to thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's commentary at the moment and today's race. If you have not done so, please leave a like on this stream and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us a lot. As we see, Jonathan Foss finally overtaking Znamirovsky around the outside. That was a pretty easy overtake, and Znamirovsky knew that he didn't really have a point to defend, as John Foss is way much faster. Sizevsky has also entered to the pit lane, the Alfa Romeo driver. That is probably going to be his final stop at the moment, as let's take a look at the penalties for a little bit. As LOL currently is holding 8 seconds, Jelinek and Mills sharing 3 seconds right here. So not a lot of people getting penalties, but that is of course good. I am not complaining, but we saw in previous races in Spain that people do tend to get penalties. It's not uncommon, it's pretty common here, because you can check extend pretty easily with turn 7, 8. This part, if you track extend, it's very unforgiving, but we could say that for every track in this game. It's very unforgiving because the game is made stupidly. Yay! I'm scared for what they do with 2022, with F1 2022. I hope they do well, but I think it's probably going to be an even bigger disaster. They do have a bigger budget now with EA. Already 5 months they are together, as we see Owen and Jelinek, I think, both getting 3-second time penalties at the same time. So that is very unfortunate indeed. So Owen looks like he's not having as much luck, just like in PC2, getting 3-second time penalty there and here. But currently his race is not looking way too shabby, as Gola takes a 3-second time penalty. If he manages to keep this pace up when everyone pits, he will be there. He will score points for McLaren, but he is only the reserve. So like I said before, the reserves are Owen and Tony, and 2 more people. I forgot, I'm very sorry. I think it's Globstrober and Adro, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Owen is being promoted to PC1, currently leading the PC2 championship. I don't really know why he's racing in PC1 right now, as he has a championship to battle with in PC2 with me and Elliot and probably Ryan. He's going to be there soon, as George Farr goes into the pit lane. So yeah, I don't really see why in the middle of the season we promote Owen. That's, I think, a bad decision. Trying to force a driver to learn without assists. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. If it was at the beginning of the season, I would see that. But it's in the middle of the season already, and I think there's no point in promoting drivers from PC3 or PC2 to PC1, or demoting drivers, or maybe demoting could work, but promoting probably not. But yeah, currently we don't see a lot of action. Maybe we will see something happening with Nieto, Sikerbike and Tukarakola, as Tuka goes into the pit lane. That is actually very early to go into the pit lane. Let's see what his tires are going to be. He's probably going to put hards, as softs are going to be very difficult, and he actually puts softs. And he actually has to change the front wing, so that is why he goes into the pit lane. But he will have a little bit of a struggle to take these softs until the end of the race, because they are probably going to be at the puncture zone already at lap 31 or 32. So he has to just stay calm, don't get a lot of pressure from Jelinek, and try not to push too much. But as the things stand, he will finish behind Owen, which is his first race in PC1. And Sikerbike, I think this is the only battle that is happening right now. Not really too close to David Nieto, but he does have a lower ERS than him, and both of these drivers are on 20 lap old mediums. They will have to stop probably very soon. We might see them, and not this lap at least. But yeah, we will see them very soon. Owen is tier 1 pace, but like I said, it's the middle of the season, so I think there's literally no point when he's battling for a championship in PC2. If it was the middle, if it was the beginning of the season, then yes, I would see that. But it's the 7th race of 17. It's the middle of the season, and I don't really see a point of doing that. For season 8, I mean, I think, of course, he's probably going to be tier 1, but we don't know how we will cope with the new game. It still has to come out, and then we will see. If it will be a horrible piece of or if it will be a good game. We will have to wait and see for that, as Znamirovsky gets a 3-second time penalty. The 6th driver already to get a penalty. I'm also trying to learn without assists, but like I said, I'm nearly with Owen. Us two are battling for the championship in PC2, and my plan is currently to learn no assists on the F1 2022 game, and then still play this entire season with assists, and then go for the. For 2022 with without assists, as Bilbas bids for softs. This will give him a big advantage for the end of the race, as he rejoins just behind of Pavlakovic. As Tokarakola puts the fastest lap of the session, a 1:17.4. This will give him another additional point in the championship, and when everyone else goes into the pit lane, he will probably merge in around, I don't know, P5, P4. Probably emerge ahead of Nieto and Sigerbike, but he did have to change the front wing, so we will have to wait and see. Wait, did they confirm that they have a new engine? If they have a new engine, then actually I'm very excited to see what they do. But if they do have a new engine, you have to remember what happened with F1 2015. 2015 was a half-baked game. They only made like multiplayer and championship season and time trial, and that's it. And that's because they were still trying to figure out the new upgraded engine. That's why we had no career mode. The multiplayer was buggy, but everything else was okay. But that's why I have a problem if they do have a new engine, because if that's the case, then we don't really have hope for 2022, but for 2023 we might have. As Tony, Nieto and Gola go into the pit lane, and Bilbas overtakes Pavlakovic for P5, as there is actually a safety car! As Sizevsky actually retires from the race. Let's go on board with Drake. He hits the left wall. Very unfortunate indeed, as he was running pretty okay. And it's at the end stages of the Grand Prix. But this will give a huge advantage to Sikerbiki, Znamirovsky, Jonathan Voss and Drake to pit for softs and go until the end. They will be massively ahead on pace. As we will probably see everyone go for softs, but these guys will probably stay ahead of everyone, as Drake nearly crashes into the pit lane wall. If he crashed into the pit lane wall, I would be laughing like crazy. Oh my god. So yeah, we have a safety car. It is lap 25. Drake still P1, and this is probably not good for Owen, who was looking pretty good for the safety car before the safety car, because when everyone went into the pit lane, he would probably rejoin way higher up in the points. Now he will have to be behind the top 10, which is just unfortunate. But that is not only for him, as he retires from the session. What has happened here? Why has he done that? Is that a glitch? I don't know what you would retire at the ender state. Oh yeah, he said that he probably wouldn't have enough time to finish the race, so he probably had to go, and he just retired in the pit lane. So very unfortunate indeed. It was a very good first showing in PC1, and very unfortunate that he could not finish the race in time. But next time we might see him in Portimao, so stay tuned for that. As we are on board with Drake Dempsey, currently leading the safety car pack, and everyone is on softs except for Pavlakovic, which I'm just gonna say you should probably go pit. because you are going to die and you're going to be overtaken by everyone else, because everyone is on softs, everyone is way faster than you. You are also on 10 lap old mediums, 11 right now. You do not have the advantage here. You are going to lose a lot of positions. So yeah, everyone has pitted for new softs because we do have 7 laps remaining in the race, and we will be close to the end. Already, actually, like at the moment, it's been a pretty entertaining race. We did have quite a few battles in the first 15 laps, and then after lap 15, I think it calmed down a little bit. Everyone kept a gap between each other, like a second or 2 seconds. Not really a lot of overtaking happening, but we do have a safety car, the first safety car of the race. So let's see what will happen, and if everyone will take it safely at the safety car exit. But if you have watched other races, you know that safety car ends are let's just say awful. They are awful. They are awful. But we will have to wait and see, as we might see the safety car coming in this lap if Mills catches up to them, but no. Oh, there we go. It's actually going into the pit lane. Thank God, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really like when I commentate when there's a safety car, because I seriously do not know what to say. That's why I'm relying on the chat, because I do see that you are having a very interesting conversation. I am pretty enjoying it. But yeah, there is going to be 7 laps remaining in the session. Drake Dempsey currently just holding everyone up to start his lap right now, and let's see, he's still holding him up, and there he goes. He has already taken 5/10 off of Bill Bass, and I think Tony is trying to go on Pavlakovic, and Znamirovsky is trying to go on Tony, trying to go around the down the inside. Let's see if he makes that move stick. He doesn't. He knows that if he tries to do something, he will crash, as he nearly crashes right here, as he loses the back end, as he touches the inside curb way too much. And Tony trying to go on the move on Pavlakovic. This will probably be a very easy overtake, as Pavlakovic doesn't have the tires to try and defend, and that was a very easy overtake indeed. Now Bilbas is next. Znamirovsky has also overtaken Pavlakovic. There was a little bit of a contact, but thankfully not too major, as Stuka also overtakes Sigurd in the Haas. So everyone taking it pretty cleanly except for Nieto. There was probably a spin, which I didn't see, unfortunately, and I didn't even notice. But let's see here. Elwell and Jelinek going side by side. Elwell trying to go around the outside, then doing a switchback, but Elwell has the better exit. But Jelinek goes deep in this right-hander, but closes the door. He cannot do anything about it, as I think we might see Tony Rich right now trying to make an overtake on Bilbas. DRS is still not enabled. Both of them are using DRS as much as possible. Let's see if he makes that move stick, as Jonathan Foss has overtaken everyone, and Tony Rich trying to go down the inside of Bilbas, but Bilbas defends that position for his life, because this is second position. This is a very good podium for Alpha Tauri, as we have Pavlakovic leaving the session and Nieto getting 5-second time penalty, as Nieto has retired from the session. And I think that Tuka has overtaken Gola and Jelinek, but I don't really know. Everything is happening all at once. I cannot keep track of everything. That's why I need Adam, because I'm just losing my mind. But yeah, at least everyone has taken the safety car very cleanly. Everything is going pretty okay for once. We do only have just a few spins with Sikerbike and Nieto retiring in the pit lane. So yeah, Pavlakovic has rejoined in the race, but he's just way too far behind in P13. And that is just very unfortunate indeed. as Tony Rich now has another opportunity to try and make a move, as Jake Dempsey has taken the fastest lap of the race. He will probably just stay P1. He will get maximum points, 27 points, with the pole position and the fastest lap of the race, as Tony actually does not get closer, as he gets a 3-second time penalty. Tony gets a 3-second time penalty, and this might decide the whole race, as I think that he might just lose way too many positions, as the drivers behind him also have penalties, but he might lose a position to Foss, and this might be a double podium for AlphaTauri, which might be good, as Elwell and CCKBK both retire from the race at the same time, I think. I think Elwell has crashed into turn 2, but I don't really know what happened there. But Tony Rich now, if he wants to stay on the podium, he has to overtake Bilbas as he runs wide just before the straight, and probably gets another warning for that, as he's pushing way too much. He is getting very impatient to try and overtake Bilbas, as Bilbas is losing control of his car way too soon. Those tires are probably failing him already. Tony Rich will have the rest for this start-finish straight. All Bilbas has to do is stay close to Tony after he overtakes him, because if he can manage to hold him up, this might get AlphaTauri a double podium, which will be very beneficial in their constructor standings, as Tony goes down the inside, overtakes Bilbas, and that is very good indeed, as we have a fight behind with Yellowneck and Powers, as Powers has overtaken Yellowneck, and this might be a double point Spain position for Alpine if we do have another retirement, as Luke Mills is maybe going to score his first points in I'm sorry for that, as he does have a penalty, but maybe if we do have another retirement, he will score his first points. And let's see here, Jonathan Foss, Namirovsky, Bilbas, all in this DRS train of Tony Rich, and Tony Rich is not really leaving the gap to Bilbas, and this is very good for the AlphaTauri boys. They have to just stay in this 3-second gap, as Tony and Namirovsky have both 3 seconds, as Bilbas cuts that inside curb of turn 15 way too much. That's probably gonna give him a warning. Please do not do that. As Luke Mills has spun, looks like he will not get his first points for Alpine, which is very unfortunate indeed. As Tuka is also getting closer to Jonathan Foss, trying to stay ahead of Gola, Powers and Jelenek, who also do have penalties, or mainly Gola, because Gola is the only one that is closer. He also, if he wants to stay a bit ahead, he nearly loses the control of the car. So what I'm saying, he can only move one position, probably, if he somehow overtakes Znamirovsky, as Gola gets another 3-second time penalty, as Bilbas is still in the DRS range, and now Mirovsky is closing that gap to them as well, and Foss and Tuka and Gola, as Bilbas actually gets a very bad exit there. He goes very deep and they go side by side. This is Namirovsky and Bilbas, and there was no contact at least, and Bilbas thankfully he has defended that, but he is out of the DRS range, and this is not good for the AlphaTauri guys, because they are, I think, just behind the 2-second gap, so they really need to push in these last 2 laps, as Znamirovsky has overtaken Bilbas for P3, but he will probably lose all of those positions after the penalties are applied, as Tuka goes very wide as well. He will probably get a warning for that as well, but this is a very intense battle for the final podium positions, as both Tony and Znamirovsky have 3-second time penalties, and Bilbas and Foss trying to make as much ground as possible to try and stay within the 3 seconds of both Znamirovsky and Tony to get the double podium for AlphaTauri. Tuka is just behind them, maybe trying to battle and extend that gap, as he doesn't have any ERS to battle for this position. So he will have to stay behind just a little bit longer, as this is going to be a very big DRS train with Namirovsky leading it, with Bilbas, Foss, Tuka and Gola just following him right behind, as Jake Dempsey is just staying clear in the first position, as Pavlakovic has retired. We need only one more retirement for Luke Mills to get his first points in PC1, and maybe that's gonna happen with this, as Namirovsky defending his position for his life, but he doesn't really need to do that because he's gonna lose the position either way. His light is blinking as Bilbas gets a 3-second time penalty. Bilbas now needs to do the work of his life because he has a podium to get. Because he is on equal penalties like Namirovsky, he needs to get a move on right now. He will have the DRS for the second straight, as Namirovsky goes very wide and very deep here as he locks up as well. So Bilbas really has to make a move, and he needs to do something here if he wants to stay on the podium. They are also only just 3 seconds to Tony. I think they are going to lose out on the double podium, but maybe Bilbas can make a dive bomb right here as Namirovsky defended the inside line as he locks up, and Bilbas will overtake him for P3. And maybe Foss can try and do something, but he doesn't really need to, because if he just stays behind Namirovsky and Bilbas, he will get the podium position, as Namirovsky nearly loses the car as Jake Dempsey wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Tony follows him right behind in P2, but let's see what this is going to happen, as we have 3 people battling in this, and we have Gola retiring and Tuka, and oh my god, and Namirovsky takes P5, Tuka is P6, Powers P7, Jelenek P8, as he also crashes just before the finish line, and this will be the first points paying position for Luke Mills, as he just needs to keep it clean, because Gola has not crossed the finish line. What has happened there with Tuka, Bilbas, and oh my god! As Tuka gets a 20-second time penalty, but that's probably gonna get removed. Jesus Christ! What was that final lap? Oh my god! That final lap was amazing. Luke Mills gets his first points for Alpine in PC1, and we can see Jake Dempsey on the top step of the podium. Congratulations to him, of course, for winning his 5th race, or actually his 6th, I think. His 6th race of the season. Right alongside him on the podium are, of course, Tony Rich and Bilbas. Or actually, that's Jonathan Foss, I think. I don't know. As they look very happy to be on that podium, and Jake Dempsey will of course get the maximum points possible as he takes the fastest lap of the race and the pole position and win, of course. Tony Rich, of course, finishes P2, and Tony Rich finishes P2, and Jonathan Foss follows him right behind to finish on the final spot on the podium. Just before we do anything else, I need to do this because we don't really have time, and I need to do this. There we go. Bilbas is P4, the other AlphaTauri drivers. Namirovsky is P5, Powers is P6, Par is P7, Jelenek is P8, Tukarakola is P9, and Luke Mills gets his first points for Alpine. Mateusz Gola unfortunately has retired on the final corner. I really do not know how that happened, but it happened. Pavlakovic gets P12, Elvel gets P13, Sikerbiki gets P14, David Nieto gets P15, Owen Heinen gets P16, Shizevsky gets P17, Adjo gets P18, Globchober gets 19, or Niemczyk, and Berlini is the final guy to quote-unquote finish, because all of these 9 drivers have retired from the race. And I'm just gonna say that those final few laps were amazing. They were amazing. I seriously do not know what in the hell happened. But that was so good. Oh my god. That was incredibly good. But yeah, that is the Spanish Grand Prix. As we are done with that. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's commentary and the race. Just before we go, one more time, I'm very sorry for these advertisements. Just before you go, leave a like on today's stream. You can also subscribe to our channel, it really helps us out to make better content and do this all the time. I would also thank our partners, Gridfinder, Bollydomania, Race Inside Discord, and JR Designs. Thank you for partnering, and we hope that we can continue our partnership for way longer. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You also have our website in the description, and if you enjoyed the race and want to race with us, there is also a link to the Discord to sign up. Currently sign-ups are closed, but we will keep you informed when they open, because we will probably be looking for reserves, but stay tuned for that. We have 5 PlayStation tiers and 3 PC tiers, so you can join on both, or you can only join on one, whichever you prefer, or whichever you have time for. So I am going to say that that was a very, very exciting race indeed. In the beginning it was amazing, in the middle stages it was okay, and then at the end it was phenomenal. A lot of overtaking happening, pretty clean, but at the end all of the retirements were just happening. Luke Mills gets his first points, very, very happy for him, and Tony gets his first podium as well in PC1. And Drake Dempsey, of course, wins another race. He extends his championship gap, which probably won't be even beaten. We can already, I think, conclude that Drake has won the championship in PC1, so I don't think there is any point for him to race anymore, because he's already a champion in PC1, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say. Next race is going to be in Portugal, the Portimao circuit. A very good track. I really like it. I just hope that racing is going to be good as well, that we have a new winner, because we've only had 2 winners in PC1. We had Drake and Tuka only winning in PC1. So maybe we can see another guy challenging for the win, or maybe Tony can show his true potential, and maybe Owen, I don't know. We will have to wait and see what happens. But this has been the Spanish Grand Prix, and this has been European Racing Organization. My name is Kickerlin, or Dino Puskadija, and this was PC1. I hope that you enjoyed today's commentary and the race, and I hope to see you next Sunday for another exciting Ero race in Portimao. Take care and stay safe.